Mind you, all of this is while America is still on the brink of war with Russia, World War III,
Mm.
um, massive levels of inflation, hyperinflation, and damn near stagflation. Credit card debt is through the roof. And so the level of I have to escape to the point where I'm not even thinking critically about these things that are obviously in front of us. I'm not mad at them for even if it was a money bag run, because if the
Mm.
American public is not going to go, that's crazy, I'm not watching that, they wouldn't
Mm.
be able to sell it. So I
Interesting.
think that all of these things that we look at, we got to kind of like point the finger at ourselves collectively as a community and say, man, we are at a point where we allow this to happen. And it can only happen on a Netflix because, as the brother was saying earlier, nobody in the universe would have paid $60 for this, So
Right.
I think we should look in the mirror a bit on that and recognize how much we are running towards distractions
Mm.
because, so much that we're not even thinking critically about potentially a 60-year-old man dying in the middle of the ring
Mhm.
because we want to be entertained for nostalgia's sake.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, it's interesting you talk about that. And by the way, everybody, we're talking about the Mike Tyson fight. And the goal is I wanted to bring together some black men that could help us have a conversation that goes outside of the obvious of who won or how much he got paid. We know he got paid. You can decide who won. It's up to you. That's not what we're here to discuss. We're thinking about Tyson as a guy that we love, a guy that we respect. He was the baddest man on the planet. He also is a fellow black man, and I think that conversation is important. That's why I reached out to all you guys because I have so much respect for every one of you. And just just to do kind of a quick re-up to everybody, I have Pastor James Wilson, who's an executive pastor at the New Prospect Baptist Church. I've got Dr. Charles Rogers, who runs the Men's Health and Equity Institute. I've got Dr. Charles Cole, who's a brilliant brother in the field of education, and Maj Toure, founder and executive director of Black Guns Matter. If y'all can hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let's get let me jump into this. So Pastor Wilson, I'm gonna go back to you then. Maj said a lot. He mentioned a couple of things. One, the word legacy kind of came up, and he mentioned that Mike doesn't care about legacy. And I don't know if you saw, did you see where he where he was answering the little girl's question about
Yeah,
legacy
yeah, I
and
saw that. Right,
traumatized the girl?
right.
I was like, okay, she need to go. Let her go interview Barack Obama or somebody that's gonna say something that's gonna cheer her up. That poor little girl was depressed after that. He's like, legacy doesn't matter. But so what? But what do you think about legacy? I mean, Pastor Wilson, do you think that Mike's legacy might have been tarnished by this, and do you think it even matters? Obviously, he doesn't care because he says legacy doesn't matter. But what about the rest of us? Do you feel like that having people see you in that way is just not good for those that really admire Mike and for what he accomplished?
Yeah, I think the legacy is intact. For those, I think as Brother Maj said, somebody else might have said this as well. For those that know him in his prime, know the history, know his story, his legacy is intact, very much so. And as someone that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm in his age bracket. Um, and so all that's intact, and people later in their years, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But I tell you what, the statement from Tyson that I think is the most troubling, and I don't know if anybody, I'm sure you all may have heard this, but before the fight, some kind of pre-fight conversation, he said that to my children, I'm a nobody. Anybody else remember that